Now, the 2023 pre-season meant that teams were finally able to test their cars on the track to see how they compared to the competition after developing them over the winter. For some, the process was relatively smooth, with teams being able to hit their targeted running time. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said for Mercedes, who hit a major speed bump on the second day of testing, prompting an emergency meeting between the team's top staff and both Lewis Hamilton and George Russell. So, without further ado, let's look at the issues that plagued Mercedes in Bahrain as they attempt to get back into the fold this year, and why things may even be more dire in 2023 for the Brackley outfit. After a disappointing afternoon of pre-season testing on the second day on Friday, Mercedes reportedly held an unplanned meeting with Lewis Hamilton, George Russell, and several members of staff in Bahrain. The Silver Arrows failed to get anywhere close to Guan Yu Zhou's fastest time of the day, which was set on the softest available tyres, ahead of defending world champion Max Verstappen in second place. Hamilton finished the day in 13th place, 2 positions behind Russell, as the Mercedes struggled with teething issues on their all-new W14 Challenger, with just over a week until the season-opening Bahrain Grand Prix. The German outfit also suffered from a major reliability issue when Russell was forced to stop at the edge of the circuit due to a hydraulic failure, limiting him to only 26 laps of running in the afternoon for the German team. Mercedes executives were understandably unhappy with how things went as they held the unplanned meeting with both of their drivers in the paddock following the session. Hamilton and Russell were seen deep in conversation with some of their engineers, presumably discussing what went wrong, while Toto Wolff was also present and was seen watching intently. Whether or not this is a sign of an early crisis at Mercedes remains to be seen. The team has decided to build the W14 using a similar design philosophy to last year's car, which struggled to keep up with the pace of their rivals and finished only third in the Constructors' Championship standings. Those in charge at Mercedes will be desperate to avoid another poor season in order to rejoin the likes of Red Bull and Ferrari at the top of the pecking order, which can mean a drastic change in car design if they fail to improve things as a priority. Wolff has also warned that if Mercedes feels the need to tweak their uniquely slim side pods during the upcoming season, contingency plans have been put in place at their Brackley headquarters. Throughout last season, we have analysed it back and forth whether it was right or not, said Wolff earlier this month. Obviously, you can see the side pods are very different to any other car, but we believe that this is not the performance relative part. Obviously, there's no such thing as a holy cow here. We're looking at everything, and on the side pods, this is the first iteration, and when we're going through the first few races, that's going to change a little bit. Their emergency meeting, on the other hand, appeared to have worked, as the crew worked late into Friday night to resolve the W14's handling issues and subsequent performance loss. Russell, who competed 83 laps in the morning session on Saturday, felt the W14 was in a much better window in the hot conditions that plagued it on Friday. Hamilton took over for the afternoon and finished second on his quickest of 63 laps on Pirelli's softest C5 compound, 3/10 slower than the Red Bull's Sergio Perez on the harder C4s. The 7-time world champion acknowledged that Mercedes is not quite where it wants to be, but he praised the team's progress and work ethic. Meanwhile, engineering chief Andrew Chauvelin confirmed that the team was able to nail down a setup solution that kept its car in a much better place. A fair bit of work took place overnight to find some refinements to the car specification and recover our direction on the setup. We do seem to have made progress. Both drivers felt the car was in a much better place across the range of conditions today, and the balance is closer to what they require on a single lap and long run. It's clear that we still have work to do on car pace, but Saturday has given us a much more coherent picture where we need to focus our efforts. We'll be using the time ahead of next weekend to go through the data we've collected and aim to extract a bit more lap time. Now, this significant step forward will undoubtedly fuel both drivers heading into the Bahrain Grand Prix, but for Hamilton, it may be the best news he's heard in over a year. Hamilton's 4-year winning streak for winning the Drivers' Championship came to an end in 2021 when he was beaten on the final lap of the season by a contentious decision from race control. To make matters worse, Mercedes was unable to provide him with a car capable of fighting back last season, a year in which he also lost to his new teammate Russell. It was only the third time in Hamilton's 16-year Formula One career that he finished behind his teammate, and 2022 was also his first season without a race win. However, Eddie Jordan, an Irish businessman, television personality, and former owner of the Jordan Grand Prix, believes Hamilton will be back this year, determined to assert his dominance over Russell while also chasing title number 8. 7-time world champion, the former team boss told OLBG. I do believe he thinks he has the best chance this coming season to make this championship 8. I would discount the first 20 or 30% of last season in terms of not seeing Lewis at his best, and he'll be back to his best now. I think as an indicator, George Russell beating him in terms of total points for the championship in 2022 will be a blow to him. I can't remember the last time a teammate beat him other than Nico Rosberg, who was a super smart driver in terms of how he went about it and capitalized on any little mistakes that Lewis made and went on to win the championship, which people didn't believe he could do, but he did. There's everything to play for this year. I think Lewis will be very strong nevertheless. Of course, Hamilton's ability will be determined by the car Mercedes can give him. It's also been widely speculated that if Mercedes gets it right this season, team principal Toto Wolff may struggle to manage Hamilton and Russell. One will be vying for his 8th title, the other for his 1st. Mercedes experienced an unusual 3 days in Bahrain. It started strong on Thursday, floundered on Friday, and then turned things around on the final day to settle into a somewhat ambiguous position in the pecking order. The Mercedes car doesn't appear to be a Red Bull beater, at least not yet, but its hold on 3rd place is also in doubt. Though the final day's progress was significant, it was also inconclusive. As a result, Mercedes, perhaps more than most, has reason to be disappointed with only 3 days of pre-season testing. The car appeared to be better from trackside on the final day, with Hamilton able to lean on it during the performance runs, but still showing signs of traction issues at times. And the car doesn't have the same porpoising issue that destroyed their chances last year. Nonetheless, everyone in the Mercedes camp appears to be cautious about making predictions for the season opener in Bahrain. Hamilton, for one, already admits that Mercedes have a mountain to climb if they want to challenge Red Bull, and it's easy to see why. Red Bull had the best pre-season test possible in that it was extremely boring in terms of storylines. The car was the fastest in both short and long runs, looked like it was nailed to the track, and racked up a good amount of mileage. It also failed to make headlines when the previously hidden Red Bull RB19 finally emerged on the first day of testing, owing to the fact that it was essentially an evolution of last year's all-conquering RB18 rather than revealing any eye-catching new ideas. Red Bull has relentlessly improved every aspect of the car, including weight, to create a machine that builds on last year's phenomenal success. Speaking about the ups and downs of testing in Bahrain and how he believes the Mercedes car compares to its rivals, Hamilton emphasized the importance of the team continuing to work on the W14. "It's been an interesting few days, it's never easy," Hamilton said. "There's been a lot of discovery. I think the thing I've been most impressed with, it's my 11th year with the team and everyone's turned up with the same mentality, working hard, no one's been complacent. We realize that we have a mountain to climb and no one's fast, everyone has just kept their heads down, so I'm really proud of that." So, what are your thoughts on Mercedes' performance in Bahrain? Will they be able to recover this season, or will their return to the top be a long-term struggle? Share your thoughts in the comment section down below.